Welcome to the final part of this episode, everybody. Since we don't have the Fantasy League, we need to figure out something to do before our plugs and all that other kind of stuff to give you guys, something extra. So, brainstorming about some different things, and then we just decided, fuck it, let's just rant about how something that we've been talking about here and there for a while. I know I've been talking about it for a long time. How fucking dumb it is that there are so many different names for the same type of match in WWE. The Extreme Rules match, the no disqualification match, no countout, no holds barred, street fight, unsanctioned, Belfast Brawl, all the different location specific
I think
things.
you're being a little too harsh. I mean, the Chicago street fight is fucking amazing.
It's so different from a normal street fight.
I prefer the Miracle on 34th Street fight.
Yeah.
Street strike?
Street fight. That was tough to say. Doesn't run oil.
It's tough to watch.
Actually, that match was awesome.
Wasn't the ballroom?
You want about the Otunga versus Randy Orton?
Like,
Huh?
There was they had a Christmas street fight where Orton just kicked the fuck out of Otunga in Christmas trees. It was great.
Hunger.
No, I'm talking about freaking Dean Ambrose.
Dean Ambrose. Yeah, that was good.
Dean Ambrose versus who?
Bray Wyatt.
Bray
Oh.
Wyatt.
Yeah, I forgot that thing happened.
What were the names of those different location ones that they were doing with Ziggler and who was it? Was it Mizdow?
They did like a New Hamptons hardcore match or something like that.
Yeah, and there was like the one with all the musical instruments all around like Nashville or something. Fuck. See, that's where it gets to the point where you don't even remember what the hell the location ones were. Like, okay, Boiler Room Brawl. You remember that that's in the Boiler Room. But like, you know, when they start doing like, well, we're in Sioux City, so this is the Sioux City street fight or something like that, then I don't know. I get that there's like a fun aspect to that to just kind of change that up, but like, what the hell do they think? Like, is there somebody backstage
Tony,
that just kind of goes, no, this isn't a no holds barred match. This is a no DQ match. Do they like sit there and pick?
I love it when they give us a fucking option between the two.
Yeah, that is the stupidest out of all of that. That one fucking app vote. I don't remember when it was.
All 30 matches were the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, they had a falls count anywhere, so it's the same match except I can pin you on the outside. Well, that'd be great if people actually went outside of the arena like they used to.
Yeah, or even like outside of the fucking ring. They barely go outside of the ring. They, go around like the ring apron at the most, it seems.
I'm just glad we're getting something different at Extreme Rules as opposed to a chain match. I mean, a Russian chain match is so much better.
They haven't clarified what that is on .com yet, have they?
Because nobody fucking remembers what it was. It doesn't matter.
I don't think that they are. I think they're just going to be like, just go with it, guys.
It's going to be like, hey, remember the
chain or pole.
Can't be any worse than their flag match. Whoever gets to win gets to pose with our flag. You mean like Rusev does every fucking night?
But guys, remember how, those flag matches where you capture the flag? Yeah, I don't even have to do that this time. What if they just start doing that with all the other ones? They're like, steel cage, where you can, I don't know. We're not even going to put up the cage. They did change that about steel cage matches, though. It used to be you have to escape the cage. Now it's you can escape it, or you can just pin them, or they can submit.
Well, they've gone back and forth on that a lot of times.
I could have swore the first ever cage matches were pinfall.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think
they were.
WWE made it an escape stipulation.
Yeah, no, the back in the territories, it was only pinfall. The whole point of the cage was to keep people out. Like, it's actually what it was for.
Oh, that never happens anyway either.
That never happens anymore.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Orton, you crafty guy. No one's gonna get in that cage.
No,
I still don't like when they escape the cage through the door. I think if you're going to escape the
hate
cage, you should
that.
have to crawl over. Going through the door is so fucking lame.
That's not the part that upsets me. It's the fact that, all right, it'd be so easy to walk out the door. Literally, the amount you can clothesline someone and walk out the door. But,
They should have a steel
somehow,
cage match where somebody does that. Like, it starts, they just, shoot them across the ropes, clothesline, and then they just bolt and run to the fucking door, and it's just like, hey, nobody's ever thought of this.
They literally could irate them and run out.
Yeah.
It's like, from a realistic standpoint, the door is fucking abysmal. But it's like, oh, they only ever go for the door when both of them have been laid out. How coincidental.
That'd be so great for Seth Rollins to do that, just to get himself over even more as a bad guy.
You know what? He'd be the perfect guy to fucking do it. Like, just kick him in the nuts and run.
Even worse, though, is when you see that the people are, like, the two of them are just knocked the fuck out, and they're on the ground, they can barely crawl, one of them starts crawling towards the door, and the other one's closer to the door, and goes, I gotta start climbing the cage.
Yeah.
And the fucking cage guy gets to the top before the other guy gets to the goddamn door. It's so stupid. But WWE is odd with their gimmicks, and nothing explains that more than the kind of shit that they do with this. Like the TLC match. There is nothing different from a TLC match than a ladder match.
I think Jeff Hardy escapes the cage the best.
But that kind of shit bothers me. It's like, well, here's the TLC match. This is different from our ladder matches. We'll have a ladder match on the card and a TLC match. All right, what's the difference? Well, in this one, there's also a ladder.
There's tables.
Yeah, I love how the first ladder matches everyone just used tables.
Yeah, and you can still, they still use it all the time. People go through the commentary table and shit like that. That's a
This
table.
Triple H versus Kevin Nash. It's like, all right, you guys are having a ladder match with the sledgehammer on top. It ends with Kevin Nash going for a table.
It's so, like, ridiculous. And, I mean, they're not stupid enough to not know. But do they really think that everybody else is stupid enough to not tell the difference? Is that it? Or do they just not care, or what? Like, I get that sometimes you would want to change up the name of something, like the location things. You know, have a little bit of fun. This is a Miracle on 34th Street fight kind of thing. Wasn't that hard to say, Peyton? But, you know, you want to do that, okay. But then they should all be street fight matches. Technically, they should all be no disqualification matches. But, you know, like, when they go with the whole, this is a no DQ match, or you can vote for a no holds barred match, or an Extreme Rules match, that was by far the worst with that fucking app.
Now, I've got a question in regards to no holds barred. Has a no holds barred always just been a no disqualification match? Because from the name, it suggests maybe they were allowed to just use chokeholds or some shit like that in the past.
You would think that they would want to do that.
Or is it just evolved over time?
Here's the thing. Holds actually is just a generic term for any move in a match. It doesn't necessarily mean a submission hold. An international is a hold.
It's a lot of holds.
What they should do with that, though, is they should make that a clarification. Be like, look, this is no holds barred. You can get disqualified if you bring a weapon in. But you can, like, you know, when they did the whole thing where the punt was banned? Like, where you can punt. Or you can punch with a closed fist. You know, like, they should...
Picture does that everywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when they used to have those rules, that would have been a good way to have a distinction between them. Like, no holds barred means...
I'd be fine if they changed them just to create a distinction.
Yeah, even that. You know, make it like no disqualification, okay, but there's countouts. That, like, would be the difference between that and a street fight. Street fight, you could just do whatever. Well, and there is no difference between that and an Extreme Rules match. They should not have an Extreme Rules match, period. Because they have a fucking pay-per-view. Like,
the difference for a street fight is that you show up in your street clothes.
Only sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
No, that's the rules of a street fight. You show up dressed for a street fight. WWE doesn't always get this, but if you go back to the territories, everyone showed up in the same outfit. Cowboy boots, blue jeans, and a t-shirt with the sleeves cut off.
So Ambrose is covered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, even back in 1999, the Street Fighter always remembers Triple H versus Cactus Jack at the Rumble. No, 2000. And, like... They never made a big deal out of it. It was just, no disqualification. So it's been going on forever.
Now, I thought it was kind of cool when they did that one at WrestleMania with LOD and Ahmed, where they had, like, kind of like shit around the ring, like the fucking kitchen sink and all that. Like, that looked kind of cool. But I do like it better when they have, like, this is a street fight, you just wear the normal clothes. But they've been doing that a lot with the unsanctioned match things.
And I like the Kennel from Hell match where they had shit around the ring.
The literal shit. And that one match with Kali that was shit.
In the ring.
I know, I think it's obvious what, the reason why they do that, they haven't given the different names. It's because they have one thing to give. They have the one product, the one type of match. But if they give it different names, it seems like we're getting much more. It seems like we get a choice. Ooh, this is something different. We haven't seen this kind of match in a while. But in fact, we did. So it's like when they take the same product at the store and they put different names on it so they can charge you a little bit more. It's the same fucking thing. They just want to feed it to you different ways so you don't feel saturated.
See, Caleb, you're wrong. It's actually the complete opposite. All these matches actually used to be different. There actually
I'm
used to be subtle differences between all these matches.
Yes, but I'm saying
WWE has just
again
forgotten
now.
that, and now they've made them all into one kind.
Yeah.
So it's actually a fact of that they used to have 10 different flavors, but they figured they could save money, so they just made it one flavor with 10 different packages on it.
Same end effect, but yeah, you're right.
By the way, does it seem to you guys like they don't like Falls Count Anywhere matches? They don't seem to do them that often.
Well, I don't think they want to leave the ring anymore. They're not really big on that.
Last time they left the ring, I think it was Kane versus Daniel Bryan, and it was fucking awesome.
Right.
Yeah, that was great. That was Daniel Bryan's last pay-per-view before he left, I think.
Hey, Payton, you remember when they threw that fire extinguisher?
I'm pretty sure the last time they left the ring was that lumberjack match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins.
See, they do that kind of stuff, though, and that's what's odd. Like, they love last man standing matches. We're going to get another one of them at Extreme Rules, because they can't go in Extreme Rules without a steel cage and a last man standing match. But with those matches, they tend to always go towards the stage at the very least. So it's kind of like, why not do a Falls Count Anywhere match every once in a while? That's very, very similar to a street fight, but there's that one little different aspect of being able to pin outside the ring that makes it that much cooler.
Yeah.
I agree. I liked it when they used to go in the back or outside sometimes. I like those.
Mm-hmm. Even, like, though it would be odd, because, you know, you got, like, just the referee making noises, and you could actually hear the guy be like, no, come on, no, don't hit him like that. Okay, well, you hit him anyway, so 1, 2, like, you know, it's weird, but it's different. And when you give me something like a street fight, and then you try to say, but this one is not a street fight, it's an Extreme Rules match, well, fuck you. Like, I hate that so much. I wouldn't even hate it as much if they didn't have Extreme Rules matches, and they just had the other ones. But the fact that they classify a pay-per-view as Extreme Rules, and they say every match, which that's not true anymore, every match has some kind of Extreme Rules stipulation, but this one is an Extreme Rules match. That's just like, you don't understand logic at all, do you? No DQ, you know, no holds barred.
Out of all of them, man.
All the, like, the same type of street fight?
Same type of matches,
things?
yeah.
If I were to give, like, a name to any of them, I'd probably go with Street Fight. But then again, I'm a little bit more, like, OCD and, like, organization and purposes like that. So if I were in WWE, I'd probably classify them all as no disqualification.
I always like the sound of no holds barred.
It sounds pretty rough.
Probably be a good name for a movie.
You know what they should bring back is the empty arena matches.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
They're okay for one-offs. I don't want to see it like one every year. I would rather see one like every 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what would be kind of cool if they did that with something like NXT? Just to be different, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, if you could do it with anyone, that'd be the ideal one because you don't really have to pay for the arena.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if you could do it with anybody, you could do it with TNA. So it already is.
Well, TNA will pay you to do it.
To say they'd save money.
Yeah, then they don't have to give the tickets away. They don't have to pay the guy that gives the tickets away. What am I talking about? They wouldn't pay him anyway. They don't pay the wrestlers.
Oh, God, and TNA is even worse. They got that fucking Monsters Ball shit.
Oh, shit, yeah. Ugh. Well, TNA, I mean, as dumb as WWE is when they go with the whole, these all mean the same thing, but fuck you guys, TNA, I don't think that they know that they mean the same thing.
Didn't they come up with some stupid name for their version of TLC and added an extra weapon? Like, it's TLC with a chain, it's the Steel Asylum, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Cage type match thing.
I don't know. They've got that many
that's
fucking
the whole-
stupid names. I hate that company.
What's next? Adding stairs?
I kind of like, I hate to admit it, but I kind of like Feast or Fired.
Yeah.
The best thing to come out of Feast or Fired was Curryman going, "Ah, yes, I am Fire Champion."
I kind of like that. I like the Lockdown pay-per-view, but when TNA does shit that it's just like, here's a cage, but it's got weapons on the ceiling. Like, what?
Wasn't that a WCW thing?
Yeah, they did that for that 3-level cage thing.
Which is just, do you really need 3 levels
It's
of
a
cage?
cage on a cage on a cage.
And then they're like,
Dog, we heard you like cages.
Oh, and it has a ladder.
They're like, I love that 3 steel cage match. Can you do that with the Royal Rumble and have 3 ranks?
They have a fascination with threes, didn't they?
Yeah.
People wonder why that
3 count.
he went out of business.
3 count.
How much would that suck though to like go to an arena and have not one ring centered in there, but like just like you only got to watch part of the action? It must suck.
They must be really pissed that WWE beat them to the whole WrestleMania in 3 locations thing. He's going, son of a bitch. Now we got to do it in 6.
I got one more name to throw out here. I'm actually curious if any of you guys have even heard of this one.
Oh, that one.
A lights out match.
Nope, doesn't ring a
Nothing?
bell.
Is that when
Alright.
William Regal turns the lights up?
I'm in the dark on that one.
You're
that-
actually not far off. A lights out match is actually something you wouldn't see on TV.
Because the lights are out.
Well, the thing behind a lights out match is that the match is so heinous that the company and the venue cannot sponsor it. So what they do is they wait until the end of the show, and then they turn the lights off for 30 seconds to signify that the show was done and they told everybody to go home. And then they bring the lights on again, and then they have this match on that's like after the show, and it's like this after hours, so anything can go. And then you have your street fight match.
Kind of like taking the
So-
unsanctioned thing to the next level.
So it's dark. So it's a dark match.
It's not a dark
Yeah.
match. It's a lights out. I mean, this was back before you even had TV, really. I'm talking about this was like big when house show circuits were big.
Well, I'm pretty sure that TNA's had a lights out match when they couldn't pay the electricity bill.
Yeah, I was going to say WWE had one too when that storm came through and it knocked out the lights. Yeah.
That was the pay-per-view.
Yep.
What do you guys think about unsanctioned matches, though, where they don't have the referee and stuff? Is that fun, or is that just kind of too weird?
Wait. So an unsanctioned match doesn't have a referee? Because Shawn Michaels and Triple H had an unsanctioned
Yeah,
match, and that had a referee in it.
Well, they've done it where they don't have a ref, and they've done it when they do. So it's
So if it
kind of
doesn't
like
have a ref, it's not even a match. It's just a fight. Like, how does it end?
That's
when one
fine.
guy just poses, and the guy in the back starts playing his music.
Okay, he looks dead. Plays music.
Oh crap! I hit this other thing. That means that guy's gonna have to run out now.
Wouldn't it be great, like, if they accidentally played someone's music one night and be like, fuck it, do a run out, do a run out.
The guy in the ring's like,
What
the fuck's going on here?
Why is RVD running out?
You gotta do me a solid. I can't let them know I made a mistake. You gotta run out there for me now.
Shrug. Runs in.
And like, Vince be like, who booked this? And the production guy goes, you did. Oh. Okay.
Oh, then it's a great idea. I love it. Yeah, but do you like it when they don't have the referee kind of thing, where they make it seem like, well, we're definitely staying away from this, but we're still airing it because we want to make money off of it, sort of thing?
Mhm.
I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Can't remember one.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember one. I had one earlier. I didn't write it down, and I'm kind of pissed that I didn't now. But
Parking lot brawls was another one I hated. It's fucking stupid.
Eddie vs. Cena was fun, and Goldust had a pretty good one.
if they do a brawl kind of thing, you guys like it when they do like outside of the ring more, or if it's just
If it's short.
As long as it's once in a while, they don't overdo it. I think it's cool. Yeah, and like Wago said, if it's short, if they don't do most of the match out there, but if they go out like the Daniel Bryan and Kane one, if they're just out there for a little bit and they do that and he came back with the crane or something, as long as it's not most of the match, I'm okay with it, and as long as they don't do it too often.
Otherwise, it becomes like the Randy Orton Seth Rollins beatdown, just awkward.
yeah. Well, Sean posed the question of what's your favorite out of the different names. What do you guys think?
I think I said no holds barred, but yeah, that one.
Well,
What's yours, Sean?
Mine's like an old-fashioned hardcore.
A hardcore match. Yeah, I forgot about that one too.
You mean a full
probably
scan anywhere match?
I'd probably say no DQ, just because, like Tony said, I'm kind of OCD about that, and technically that's what it is. It's no disqualification, so I'd have to go with no DQ.
And I'm going to go with the lights out match.
Now, if you were to get rid of the whole Extreme Rules match thing, I think that's the biggest fuck you out of all of them. Do you like Extreme Rules having every match with a gimmick, or is it just that most of them should? I like it with
gimmick.
every one of them.
I fucking despise gimmick pay-per-views, but if you're going to do one called Extreme Rules, then every match needs to be Extreme Rules.
Agreed.
Because
Like,
it's
if
different.
you're
Singles match
gonna
would
go-
just be awkward. It just have a
you're-
singles match. Yeah,
If
go
you're
ahead.
going to do the shitty thing of doing a gimmick pay-per-view, and I don't think there should be one gimmick pay-per-view outside of the Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series is dead anyway, so who cares?
Money in the Bank.
I don't like Money in the Bank. I hate that being a pay-per-view. That should be a match on WrestleMania. It doesn't need to be a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I see SummerSlam also.
And my biggest issue with Money in the Bank being a main event is there is no fucking storytelling in ladder matches, especially a Money in the Bank. It does not do anything for me other than, that was a cool spot. That was a cool spot. That was a cool spot. What was he talking about?
Calling a pay-per-view Extreme Rules.
Yeah, fuck that. No more gimmick
The thing-
pay-per-views.
The thing with Extreme Rules, I enjoy the pay-per-view, but then 6 months later we got TLC, which is near enough exactly the same fucking thing.
I'm an advocate that all gimmick matches should be used for the sole purpose of finishing off a feud.
See, I think there's room for gimmick pay-per-views, but you need to play it, like, kind of reserved. Like, Royal Rumble is perfect. You know, you've got that big Royal Rumble match. That's the selling point of the pay-per-view. No need to touch it. I used to like not Extreme Rules, Elimination Chamber as that kind of go-between, but it did feel a little bit unnecessary. Fastlane sucks, but...
Here's the thing, Elimination Chamber, again, shouldn't be a gimmick pay-per-view. The perfect place to put the Elimination Chamber? Survivor Series. It's about surviving.
See, but then you don't do the Survivor Series match.
Sure you can.
Yeah, you do both. They used to do both. I think, 2002? Yeah.
See, I would say...
Names.
I'd say if you're going
Backlash
to...
and No Way Out and shit.
No Way Out should be a cage thing. I don't know why they don't just do that.
Doesn't need to be a gimmick thing at all. It was just a good fucking pay-per-view to have in between Buffer, Rumble, and Mania. Though I'd rather not have a pay-per-view there at all, but I've harped on about that plenty of times.
Then you have Backlash after WrestleMania. Because it was the Backlash after WrestleMania.
Yeah, that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They could have just moved Payback up. But, like, in my mind, Extreme Rules works if you have every match as a gimmick. Because that's the gimmick behind it. TLC is stupid as fuck. I hate it so much. I would be fine with them not even having a pay-per-view at this point.
Especially now that they've gotten to the point where they've gone, oh, we need to make this different, guys. Stairs.
Like,
You're a
it's
genius.
It's
That was
so
the
weird.
worst.
If you're looking at the schedule for the year and you're like, the Royal Rumble sounds like a wrestling event. WrestleMania, okay. SummerSlam, okay. Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. The fuck? Like, we're just like naming shit in the room. Like, what the hell's going
Here's
on?
the thing. You know how you mentioned Money in the Bank?
Mm-hmm.
Whilst I don't like that being a gimmick pay-per-view, at least that one means something.
Yeah, and it's got a purpose
Extreme-
to it, kind of like the Royal Rumble does.
Uh-huh. Now, like, Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell doesn't mean anything. It's just
No.
a gimmick pay-per-view. Extreme Rules. Those gimmick matches, except for maybe a feud that you've built up, one or two, don't mean anything. And chances are, the next pay-per-view, they're going to wrestle in a fucking singles match. So what's the point in having an Extreme Rules match in the first place?
I don't get the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. I'd rather that not be a pay-per-view. Hell in the Cell was always special to me, and then they go and fucking butcher it by having it
Like,
once every year.
they've killed Hell in a Cell for me. They'll, like, Sean Taker and Triple H got me to care a little bit, but that was more just for the fact that they was pushing that whole end of an era thing.
And then 6 months later, then you've got it on a fucking pay-per-view then.
And you know what? If they were going to go with that, I've said it before, it's a shame that TNA has that lockdown name, because you want to do a pay-per-view where steel cages are involved or something like that, bring back No Way Out, just do a steel cage thing, and just keep steel cages out of the other thing. But you don't even need to do that either, because you could just have a normal pay-per-view, and if you have good enough matches and good enough stories, you don't need gimmicks.
I don't know,
for
I
the
bet
extra
TNA...
shit.
I bet TNA's stupid enough to have not copyrighted it.
Probably, that's true. But no, like, I like it when they do something like Extreme Rules, but only if they go with that. And that's why I don't like Night of Champions anymore. That used to be the one night where all the titles were defended. Now, we don't have half of those titles anymore. So what's the point? We don't have Night of Champions.
That made a lot more sense back when it was two brands.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you'd miss a few titles on a show.
Yeah, one of the tag titles or like the Intercontinental or something like that.
And now if we want to miss an Intercontinental match, we just, have WrestleMania.
But to me, I think the way that they got to structure these pay-per-views, they got to look at that as, and to structure any of these kind of gimmick things, you don't give something a gimmick if there is no gimmick behind it, or if it doesn't need a gimmick. Like, Night of Champions shouldn't be a pay-per-view. That should just be something else.
That could be a special episode of Raw one night. Like,
I was just going to say,
like
or...
if you really want to hit it out the park, or maybe you've got, say... You know when they have, like
sweeps?
They used to do the real special episodes, and it's hard to explain it now because we're so used to having 3 hours that we don't really have a special 3-hour show anymore. But that would have been a good idea for a special 3-hour show back when we were still in the 2-hour era.
Exactly. Do that kind of thing, or either do it on a pay-per-view or on a Raw thing. Make it something like a gauntlet thing for the champions, where it's like, okay, well, this is the Night of Champions. This is when the champions really have to step their fucking game up, and they've got like an issue with, say, the Intercontinental Champion is not amazing. Okay, but you've got like 5 people that could challenge them in a gauntlet thing. That'd be cool for like a Night of Champions thing. Now I don't want them to do that every year for a pay-per-view, but that'd be perfect for an episode of Raw. And then instead of doing Night of Champions for a pay-per-view, then fucking, just do like a payback kind of thing. Like, you've got more than enough names. I never liked Vengeance, but...
I liked Vengeance. I miss Armageddon. That was one of my favorite names. Judgment Day was pretty fucking sweet too.
You know what they should have done for last year's Night of Champions is bring up the NXT guys with the belts as well.
Yeah, that would have been good with that.
Yeah, do that shit. I mean,
NXT champions and the WWE champions.
Make it different somehow.
Yeah, and if you're gonna make something different, start with a fucking Extreme Rules, no DQ, street fight, that shit. Figure out a way. I mean, we just figured out in this discussion how we can make each one of those seem different. WWE ignores that. Not that they're necessarily listening, but if you've got a bunch of writers, you got a whole bunch of people backstage trying to think of ideas, the least you can do is think of a way for things to be different. And that's not different as in a Belfast Brawl is different from a Motor City Mayhem match or something like that. No, you need to get different rules. Different extreme rules.
Now, just to backtrack on one thing, at least when they did the Miz and fucking Dolph Ziggler's gimmick version of a street fight, they put weapons in there that were relevant to that city.
Right. Yeah, you had the music stuff, and okay, well, now we're in Music City, so we'll have a bunch of drums. And
now, I'm okay with that, but when they just fucking slap a name on it because that's where they are that night, fuck that shit.
Oh, and speaking of Extreme Rules and weird shit when it comes to weapons and stuff, did they ever try to give any justification to the fact that there's kendo sticks under the fucking ring all the time?
Nope.
No.
Like, the tables, the chairs, the ladders, even the trash cans I can get. But why are there just the fucking Singapore canes just
I don't know why. Why is there a fucking sledgehammer there all the fucking time?
Well, even that, I could see maybe you could justify it by going, well, Triple H is in power, he wants to have that under the ring just in case he needs to use it. But there shouldn't be a stop sign. There's no reason why there should be half of this shit under the ring.
With the sledgehammer, I could see justify saying that, maybe they use it to put together the ring and they just throw it under there afterwards. Yeah. That's what I always thought was the justification. But yeah, stop signs, kendo sticks, what the fuck?
Yeah, but I'd be like, hey guys, this one wrestler that's really jacked and angry? He keeps hitting people with this. Could you budge it under there a little further so he can't get it?
They're like, yeah, we would, but we got this midget that lives under the ring too. That's kind of his home. So, if we push it too far, he's going to get pissed. And then we got The Undertaker. He just kind of pops up from underneath there every once in a while.
So, plugs?
Yeah, I think that's a good enough discussion for this busted open, whatever we're going to call this. So, plug time. Who wants to go first on plugs?
Make Kalen go first.
All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Kalen Ferris, CalenFeris. And, yeah, that's it.
John, you're next.
Oh, me? I got lots to plug. Like my sink and my toilet. But most of all, I want to plug this phone number. If you're looking for a good time, please call 201-567-4211. And don't forget to follow me on the Twitter, which will be down below somewhere in the description. Tony's the wizard who does all that jazz.
Shaughnessy 2K37.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying? Wago.
All right, for all your MMA needs, check out udmma.com, facebook.com/udmma, and twitter.com/udmma. That's unanimous decision for all your MMA needs. Also, check out Wago Rants on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, and iTunes. That's a podcast where I'd say whatever the fuck I want, because it's Wago Rants. And also, check out Addicted to Anime over on megapowersradio.com for more information on that. Go to facebook.com/addictedanimefans. Also, check me out on stevenwago.com and follow me at stevewago on Twitter. That's STEWAGO.
Round us out, Peyton.
Well, if you've tolerated listening to us assholes for the last bit talking about wrestling, I can only assume that you're a wrestling fan or you're preparing to make a prank call. So, if you are a wrestling fan, please join us every single Monday night on megapowersradio.com for the Raw post show, where we invite all of you to join us as we talk, where you can crack jokes with us and whatever the hell. Pretty much anything goes on that show. So that's every Monday night, megapowersradio.com. And if you're in the other party where you're looking to make a prank phone call, might I suggest doing the call block thing where your phone number doesn't show up, because you never know what might happen, especially if your phone number is area code 201-567-4211.
What was that number again?
I think it was 201-567-4211. Is that right, Peyton?
That's it, 201-567-4211.
It's sad, but I actually know that number off by heart now.
Sad that you know that number, but none of us could remember that second backup number to the BTR.
It's sad, but I know that number, and I can't remember my own fucking age.
That's true. All right, guys, my plugs are in the rest hold. Go check out that kind of stuff. Follow all the other things under A Mango Tree. Next week, we're going to be doing our predictions for Extreme Rules. The week after that, Extreme Rules Review. And then the week after that, then we're back to not really knowing exactly what we're going to do. So if you think of anything other than the mailbag, that's going to be one part of that we can do for our main event, then send in your submissions. And who knows, maybe we'll end up picking that. Maybe not. Who knows? But that'll do us in for episode 178 for everybody on the podcast tonight. I'm Tony Mango. Thanks for listening, everybody. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.
5, 2, yeah!
You can hear me sing in my outro. It's so good and I should be proud. Even if you think I sound stupid, I'm still gonna sing it loud. And now the show is over, so that means it's outro time. Outro!
That was so much better than some of the other outros that have been going on this year.